happening in the Tulsa real estate market? Well, I am so glad that you asked. Hey there, it's Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it is time for the new monthly market report. The MLS stats are out and available. Well, hey, I just love making sure that you are updated just like we are. Our real estate team is always paying attention to the latest and the greatest market stats. So our MLS produces this amazing 11-page report. We're so happy to send it to you if you're interested. So you can go through all the numbers like we do, but I love the last page puts this summary together, and that's what I'm going to share with you here now. So the big news in April of 2026, and I mentioned this back in March when I was talking about the activity in real time. We definitely felt an uptick in movement when it came to new listings, working with new buyers, new properties under contracts, and property selling. And guess what? The April stats are revealing exactly what we were feeling. So in the month of April 2026, closed sales are up 6.82% over last year, and pending sales, this is when we were putting all those properties under contract that will probably start closing this month and next, those were up dramatically, 11.45% over last year at the same time. Now, new listings, that was up a little bit, just 1.64%, but that is good. We still are taking listings, but there is some other news to report when it comes to listings. We are seeing that the average listing price and sales price ratio, so this tells us whatever the property goes on the market for and then what it actually closes for, is about 98%. So that means sellers and buyers, there may be a little bit of room for negotiation when it comes to buying or selling a home right now in today's market, which is normal. And the other thing to note that we see inside of each transaction is that there could still be some closing costs and other concessions. Closing costs, for example, are when a buyer is obtaining a mortgage, and of course they have their down payment. That percentage can vary based on their credit or what payment they're looking to get, and that will be a lender conversation that they're going to have. But the other fees that are associated with buying a home are things like title work fees and lender fees and any prepaid escrow accounts that need to be built up for them inside of their mortgage. So we are seeing that these closing costs for a buyer to close are around $10,000 sometimes, maybe even more depending on the loan amount. So this is real money that buyers must put down in addition to their down payment to get a mortgage. So think about it, it could be a 3%, 5%, 10%, 20% down times your sales price that buyers need real cash money for in order to buy a house. So a workaround for some buyers, when they're good with credit, they're good with a higher payment, they may ask a seller to contribute to their closing costs. So when it comes to like a contract and the net sheets, it's just going to be a debit versus a credit, and it's going to move over to the other side where a seller will, in essence, pay for and cover those closing costs. Now, the truth though is when that happens, that does become a deduction on the seller side. And so ways that we could negotiate and offset that a bit is maybe raising the sales price a little bit to the benefit of the seller to then help out the buyer while covering their closing costs. It becomes a win-win where the seller may get the net that they're looking for and the buyer may get the closing costs covered on their behalf. So that is something that's very important to understand and to note in today's market. This is really happening. So whenever I say that it is a 98.16% list price sales price ratio, that doesn't tell us the real numbers that are inside of the contract sales price that we may not be seeing. So that's why you hire a professional real estate professional that is inside of working with buyers and sellers every day, so we can tell you the truth about what's actually happening. Now, the other thing to note, talking about sellers and listings, this is the big one. Average days on market for a property to sell. I'm going to define this for you once again. I say it over and over again. But what this number is coming from is the day that it goes active on the market, being promoted on the MLS and put out there to all of the portals and shared with all the agents and the buyers in town. When that becomes an active property, the clock starts ticking for the days on market. And then it stops ticking when a buyer and seller have an agreed contract. So, listing date, pending date, but it's not taken into account the 30 to 45 days that it takes to actually get to the closing table. So, again, for buyers or sellers, you got to just pull out the calendar and see where we are today and do some math to understand if you're a seller in today's market, the average days on market is up 11.82% over last year, and that is about 53 days on the market. 53 days from active to pending plus another 30 at least. So, what does your calendar look like? Where do you need to be? When do you need to be there? And how are you going to get there? We want to help you figure that out, and we want to help you. And there are ways to overcome that gap of time. We can definitely be strategic in multiple ways, and happy to share that with you. Because at the end of the day, the big number to report is that the month supply of inventory is down. It's at 2.89 per 9 months. So it'll take 2.89 months for properties, all the properties that are currently listed on the market to sell, if nothing else came on the market. Well, we know that much more will be coming on the market because it's the spring, summer season when most people are making a move. So what does all this even mean? It means that we're paying attention. It means that we're in the market with you, that we are here to help advise you to make the best choice for you in your real estate transaction. So reach out, let us know how we can help. Talk to you soon.